But you know the amazing thing about what she just said. She said she was corny. She said, "Don't act like y'all wasn't talking." She was corny. As was I. Let me add to that. Here's the amazing thing that I see now as a 57-year-old man. Here's the amazing thing that I see now. All of the people that was fly, all the people that was in the streets, all the people, when they got in trouble, they needed intellect. Think about this. Think about what I'm going to say here. Individuals ran out in the streets, did all the nonsense, and when it was time, when they got in trouble, intellect resolved their issue. Isn't that amazing? It's amazing how individuals shun. Horse says, I posted yesterday on my Facebook page, I know I'm corny. Yeah, listen, people won't allow me to call myself corny now because they like, yo, 6 BMWs, 7 cars, 2 motorcycles, a nice house, still look good at 57. He ain't fat like the rest of us. Yeah, I think we dropped the ball on him. No, actually, you never had it to drop it. That's how arrogant you were. That's how arrogant you were. That's why I'm changing my number. I don't want it. One person is all I'm gonna be talking to. I will meet new people. But again, it is amazing how at 57 years old, I can look at all the people that thought the jiggy life was it. All the people that said, nah, I'm about that, nigga. Yeah, bang, bang. I'll do this to you. No, bang, bang. No. And then it was like, you square, you're all these things. And then, when they got in trouble, the very thing that they kicked dirt on is the very thing they need to get themselves out of trouble. I find that to be amazing. How about note to all the street people, all about it, all the Namenians, all the that's what's ups. For all you idiots, how about y'all just go ahead and be nice out the gate? Because I want to be clear about something, then we're going to start this thing off. I know, I'm going to be clear. We all went to school to have a better life. Nobody went to school to be a better tough guy. Nobody went to school to be a better boss bee. Nobody went to school for that. Think about it. You never went to school and they said, all right, the teacher said, all right, class, Shaquita, get your book out. Boss Bitch 101. Christopher, get that Boss Bitch 101. Come on. We all went to school to have a better life. And now at 57, I have a better life. And now I can't be a nerd no more. I can't be a nerd. I can't be a corny. The reason why? Because you can't put my line up. There's a term that says time will tell. And if you haven't gotten the memo, if they ain't told you, now is the time. Because I get up every day and I want you to check out what I'm about to show you. I don't do this too often. I work out, I do $75 in lift. I work out, I do $75 in lift every day. $75. Then I get back home around noontime. You know why I get back home around noontime? What is it called when the sun is up? They call it high noon. High noon. I put my car back on electric. My car is all electric. So I don't complain about gas prices. My whole house is solar. So I don't complain about an electric bill. I don't complain about gas. I did all that so that I could have a better life. Not that so I can have a better story to tell. Not so I can have a better bowel movement. Not so I can get on the toilet and be like, oh yeah, boy, now I got that electric. I'm having a good bowel movement. No, I did it so I can have a better life. And I find it amazing to the highest power. I do. I find it amazing to the highest power that us as black folks, we do things to brag. We want to go into a brag life situation. We want to go into a brag life narrative. We want to be in a situation where we get to brag. And then as soon as you stop bragging, then you have to face your life. See how it all just comes back to you? Your life. All right. My man Face Facts, he said I sent my letter to the head family court judge. My man, appreciate it. I'm glad you did. I am going to talk about something today. And I'm going to talk about communication. Talked about this many times in the past, but it always seems to swing back around. I'm going to talk about communication. So let's get started. There's a term that individuals like to use, and that terminology is communication is key. You heard this before, yes? Communication is key. So I'm going to go left for a second. Right out the gate, I'm going to go left. And I'm going to just say this. I know a woman. Her philosophy is, because I don't care. She never talks about no issues. She don't care. Remember, communication is key. So this fits in very well. Nothing means anything to her. She almost makes $200,000 a year, so she doesn't care. Well, here's the one thing about your boy. Because you don't care, I am a master at creating a situation so that you do. I'm going to tell you guys here today something that you don't seem to understand. A man's I don't care will trump a woman's I don't care any day of the week, twice on Sunday. You heard what I just said? A man's I don't care. A man's I don't care will trump a woman's I don't care any day of the week and twice on Sunday. Why did my thing go out? What's going on over here? Warning, connection is unstable. Wow. And the sooner you understand that as men, the better. So let's get rocking on why you are here today. A woman will tell you communication is key. I'm here today so that you can listen to me and then go back to that individual and ask them what exactly is the communication key to, because you guys say all the time they don't listen. So how do you know they don't listen? You know they don't listen because you're trying to communicate with them. You're trying to communicate. So communication is key, but we say it all the time. They don't listen. Got you. Hold on. Let me see if I can do the math on that. Give me hold on. Another minute. Hold on. No, that doesn't add up. That doesn't add up. I've seen women matchmakers gurgle this same stuff. These individuals don't listen. They are too delusional. They want things that is not possible. This is what they say. So when they hire these matchmakers to find them someone, do they listen? I mean, because we can look at various narratives where communicating. Now, I guess they mean via smoke signals or the pigeon on a foot. I guess they mean put the note on a pigeon's foot. That's the way they want to communicate. But I have seen many a matchmakers say they give up on women. I've never seen one say they give up on men. I've never seen this. I've seen women psychiatrists say things like, women don't remember the woman that said, maybe it's more about understanding and follow through. No, maybe. That's the key word, maybe. We're going to sit here and say, I'm going to talk to my woman and maybe, sorry, us men, we do things for a purpose, not a guest job, not a hope in the sky. We do things for results. So maybe, so shy, you're not denying what I'm saying. You're a woman. So they are like, I don't need to listen. Get lost. I have them kids. You need to help. Right. Very well said. Very well said. Again, go find a video of a matchmaker saying he's given up on men. But you can go and put matchmaker gives up on women because they don't listen. Let me tell you at 57 what I learned what communication means to women. Please allow me. To me, what I found out communication means is to always know what's on your mind. So when it's time for them to strike, they know exactly what to do. Please allow me to repeat what I just said. Communication is key to them. They want you to always communicate to them. So when it's time for them to strike, they know exactly how to do it. That's it. Because they don't care, remember? How many times have you seen videos where the individual was like, what type of man do you want? I want a man. And are you that? No. Well, why do you? And then when the interviewers start making points, you hear those classic 3 words. I don't care. That is the default when they run out of ignorance. And because they're emotional, you'll see that their intellect, that is their default when they run out of intellect and convert to ignorance. My apologies. My deepest apologies. Boy, do we want to get that right. But when they run out of intellect, then the I don't care pop. You know, what was that? I don't care pops up. So this is what happens. So what happens is that you get the I don't care because that is the way communicate. That's how they communicate. I've been living 57 years and I met 2 women that you can actually have a conversation with through and through. LaFrancis Brown and Crystal Holman. All the rest of them, you're going to get, I don't care. Again, I'm 57 and I'm 2 in 57 years. You can have a conversation with Crystal Holman. You can say, women need to do this or that. You will complete that conversation. You will. You'll complete that conversation. You have that conversation with a modern woman. I'm gonna need a minute. I'm back. It's not happening. It's not happening. It is truly amazing. However, and I want to be clear about when I say this, you will communicate with them on the level that you allow. Because if you decide because communication is key, right? If you're going to talk to somebody and they're going to answer your question with a question, they're going to deflect, they're going to try and manipulate, and then you see them go to the store and communicate with them very well. They go to the pizza, go order a pizza and say, I want a remote control button pizza. I'm sorry, what do you want? Go get a remote, take the buttons off, sprinkle the buttons on my pizza, and make me a remote control button pizza. And then they say, well, we got an old lady in the back with a sweater on. We can take the buttons off of her sweater. Would you take a sweater button pizza? I said, I'm the most educated. Give me a second. I'm the most educated. And I want the number 1 button at the 2 o'clock position. I want the number 5, the number 5 in the middle of the pizza. I want numbers buttons. They will go back and forth. They won't deflect. They'll speak very fluent. But when it comes to you, for some reason, you got me rocking. For some reason, communication just not there. It's not there. A lot of you men, you experiencing this, yes, and a lot of you men, you experiencing this. And again, me personally, I would say, I hate to say it, and I know you guys are gonna like disconnect. You're gonna put a hit out on me, but it's your fault. Your fault. I know an individual chick said to him, I could be giving other dudes this puss. 2 weeks later, he married her. I can't figure that one out. Whoa. Yeah, whoa. She said, shoot, I could be giving other this. 2 weeks later, they down in the courthouse getting married. I'm gonna need a minute. If that is the case, one would have to ask himself, what exactly is the communication like in that relationship? What is the communication like in that relationship? Wow. Because I can't do that. the world of doing that, we ain't doing that. That's a lack of emotional intelligence. There's a lot going on there. That's one of them. Me personally, I've heard this all my life. Again, I'm 57 years old. I've heard this all my life. Communication is key. I don't believe that. I believe standing on what it is you believe is key. I believe setting a boundary, and that's that. Because people can move the goalposts. They can say, I love you today. I'm not happy tomorrow. And all that can change. But if you say, this is how this works. When we communicate, we're going to use English as the communication. All right? Here's how this is going to work. You going to talk, and I'm going to shut up. Right? Then when I talk, what you think you're going to do? I mean, you ain't got to say it like that. Time out. You're going to shut up. That's why I put me shut up first. So you didn't do that, but you did it anyway. So we're going to back this up. Guess what? We're going to use English as the primary form of communication. Espanol? I don't know. I don't know Spanish. You don't either. We're not going to use asking questions with a question. That's not answering my question. You guys don't put these boundaries there. And then the second this happens, you abort the conversation. You know how many times I had to tell an individual, this conversation is over with. And they just like, we gonna talk. And they just keep going. And I should say, I said, this conversation is over with. Now, the next thing that comes out of my mouth won't have nothing to do with this conversation, number one. And number two, I guarantee it's going to hurt your feelings because it's not going to pertain to this relationship. To this conversation. I'm 100% shutting down the conversation when I say that. Again, I said this yesterday. I don't know if you heard me, but I said this yesterday. I am my father's son. I watched my dad communicate. I will not deviate from how I see my dad communicating. My dad, when he asked us a question, we answered him. We never thought about manipulating him. We never thought about asking our dad a question when he asked us a question. So I am not going to take the elements of communication that I learned to be so effective against a man, talk to a woman, and now I got to reteach myself how to communicate. That's not the philosophy that I'm going to be on ever. I'm not going to say this age, ever. You heard that? You heard that? Ever. It's not happening. It's not happening. Communication is very important. A misunderstanding of communications, wars can start a war. It can start a war. Oh, I thought you meant a war can be started. But like I said, I know a female that just, you would say stuff to her, she wouldn't say nothing. That was her way. Just an extremely arrogant woman. So it gives me great pleasure. Today is Wednesday, to see the text messages of good morning and text messaging me throughout the day. It gives me great pleasure to not answer her, because that is the communication that she decided to use, and that is the communication that I will be on with this woman until she stops communicating with me. But from now on, when that woman communicates with me, when that woman talks to me, I will not answer her. I will not. Because, like I tell people, ever since I injured my hand, I have learned that in my life, I tried to do everything to avoid what I've been through, and I went through it anyway. And because I went through it by myself, I'm good now. I'm good. I don't need nobody. So my mission, if I choose to accept it, and I do choose to accept it, to just find new people to try new people, find new people to try and communicate with, find new people to try and start a life with. That's just where I'm at with that. My man Facts says communication means obey the woman. That's why the judge in my custody case stated dad doesn't communicate with mom. How about that? The judge said that, or the hearing officer said that? And unfortunate, it's unfortunate. Let me talk about that for a second. It's unfortunate. So I'm gonna say this, Judge. Wow, okay. Appreciate that answer. I'm gonna say this. The biggest reason why, and I say the biggest reason, but I truly mean this as the biggest reason. The biggest reasons as to why a lot of you guys go to court and you fail is because intimidation. 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 And here's what I mean when I say intimidation. Allow me to give you an example of what it is I'm talking about. All right, we got Dad's traded back on. I don't know what happened. So I guess I'm going to stream from the phone tomorrow. I'm not even going to do with the laptop. I don't know what the laptop itself keeps jumping off the Wi-Fi. I have no idea what's going on. Or maybe I can stream from my, I'll just stream from the tablet tomorrow, because the tablet, I have a cellular plan on the tablet. But so I'm going to say this. A lot of you guys don't, I'm going to say this, then I'm going to go left and jump on what Facts said, put a little bit more sauce on that. Here's the unfortunateness of what a lot of you guys, I said, you guys, unfortunately, we're just trying to be a family. You buy into intimidation. A lot of you guys, you allow intimidation to, you allow intimidation to shut you down. So let me give you a parallel narrative as to what I'm talking about. I was doing a consultation with an individual. I don't know if he's here today. I just did a consultation with him before I did this live stream. I had a 2:15 with him today. I'm on East Coast time, so 2:15 Eastern Standard Time. And him and I was talking last week, the week prior to last, when he went to court. And I said, I can tell, my perspective and narrative is when you go in there and talk to the judge, you look straight. You just put your hands together like this and just, Your Honor, I need this question answered. Because obviously you can't look at them, because I don't know, eye-to-eye contact just lace you up with panties. I don't know what it is. If I can sidebar my sidebar, when I went to court to fight for custody, I'd rather have went to jail, because a lot of you guys think that if you tell a hearing officer, go suck a brick, you're going to jail. Name one time a hearing officer locked you up. Why you think they have the name hearing officer? They do that to everything is to scare you into acting right. I don't act right when I go to court. I don't. I told one judge, I'll be there Thursday, and when I get there, don't try to act like a gangster with a robe on. See, here's what y'all don't understand. When y'all there for child support, I can say, hey, listen, I might be a little late because I'm screwing your wife. He or she can't say nothing, because that's not on the docket. But y'all just, oh, I'm gonna go in there and be nice. I don't know. I don't know how to do that. But I was talking to my client, and I said, I can tell you looked at the judge. You were looking at the judge, and looking at the judge is giving him respect. When you don't look at him, that tells him he don't respect me. That tells the judge, wow, he's not scared. I don't intimidate him. And when you go in there and you don't buy into intimidation, you'll notice the world is yours. Again, I'm the youngest of 4 boys. I'm the youngest. My brothers used to beat my oop. So again, my first 150 fights, all losses. So when it came to creating this company, I was hell bent on getting some wins. And, I can't be 60 and 150, and then tack on a couple of losses I took before I went to law school. So 150 at the 25 times I went to court. So I'm like 175 and 60. 60 and 175. I gotta start getting some W's. So I don't know if I should tell y'all this. I actually use y'all. Y'all are part of my therapy. Y'all are part of my therapy oasis. I use y'all to be like, yeah, go get them. And then I'll be sitting up in the cut like, yes, I'm getting them back. I get them back through you guys. All right. I'm talking about communication is key today here. I jump on this ride every day, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I'm talking about communication here today because there's a perspective and narrative that one like to use, and that narrative and perspective is communication is key. And I will always ask you, communication is key to what exactly? And to answer the question that I ask, communication is key for a woman to find out when and it's time for them to bring you to your demise. They know exactly what would work. One of the things that I realized this a week or two ago, that by the mere fact that men have to fight to be fathers should put men in a high level of admiration amongst the female community. But it will never be, because it is offset with women offset the admiration for men with the problems that they have with men. So this is why there isn't, all the women that I've met, they ain't gonna ever find a man that could touch me. A man that put them first. A man at 57 years old, still work out, still getting in it. I'm still working hard, still have discipline out the cahoots. I am my father's son. And they see that, damn, this guy never stops. And then you could look at the fact that, wait a minute, he fought for 11 and a half years to be a father, and I still don't have one woman that would say, that is the qualities that I want in a man. Because what you hear me say is, sass don't work on me. So if the one thing that I'm not tolerating, like I said, you probably get one full sentence of sass off with me. Probably. But you ain't getting 2. Before you start the second sentence, I'm verbally foots in ass. It's not happening. My ears burn when I hear sass. My ears will not allow somebody to think that you will have my attention, that you think you can talk to me via sass. And if that's the one thing that I won't tolerate, and I see guys that will tell that a woman could say, I could be giving other dudes this, and then 2 weeks later, he marries her. That is what the recipe that takes to get a woman. That is the recipe. And that is some stuff that's some nonsense that I refuse to cook up. We ain't never gonna cook up that nonsense. That's not gonna happen. That's not gonna happen. We ain't never cooking that nonsense up. You're not gonna sass me. Now, come home and show me a video. Look at what I told my boss. Look here, and you better give me my hours. Shoot, bitch, don't play that. Oh, you still work there? Yeah. Whoa, what happened? He gave me my hours. When you show me that, I will respect your sass. But I'm not seeing that. For 57 years of living, I have not seen it yet. I see these individuals with all this talk. The communications to men is absolute toilet furniture. And we're supposed to sit back and say, you know what? That's my baby. Not happening. Not over here. Not over here. Not. And that is the biggest reason why. And listen, you can invoke sass if you give me something. But individuals, sass is all they got in a mouth, and it's just a very, very hideous chain of events. And you say to yourself, I see you talking to everybody else with perfect, it's accurate. Wow. When it comes to me, because communication is not key. It's not key. Communication is not key. It's not key. The key to talking to a woman is set a boundary and enforce it when it's crossed. That's the key to dealing with a woman. Set a boundary and impose penalties when it's crossed. You'll put your child on punishment, won't you? You'll put your child on punishment? Huh? You'll put your child on punishment, right? Right. For less. You'll put your child on punishment for less. A lot of you, yeah, you got kids. Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. Shot that nut off. Oh! Give me a second. You shot that nut off. Now you got a kid. You want your kid to listen to you, don't you? You want your kid. Listen, it's communication. All right? I walk my dog off leash. I walk my dog off leash. My ex-girlfriend brought my big dog. She brought him for me. And one day we was outside. It was nighttime. I was shocked somebody was still out there 11 o'clock at night walking a dog. And my dog just I'm like, Quattro, come here. And I'm like, Quattro, I go, Quattro. And he just like, you, man. We cool now. I ain't got to listen to you, man. And he goes over there and a lady grabs her dog all hysterical. I tells my ex-girlfriend about it. She's like, if you don't want him no more, you can give him back. Ever since you got lady, you treating Quattro like trash. I said, I am a black man and I'm walking a dog off leash. I really can't afford for my dog to get me into any trouble. It is very, very important, with no room for error, for your dog to obey your command at all times. People that got dogs will agree with this. But because this woman was a woman and she was emotional, my dog my dog listening to me was optional. How about that? My dog listening to me was an option. I'm gonna need a minute. Hold on. I'm back. I'm sorry. Hey, listen. When I think about dumb, my brain just, I need a moment. When I, excuse me. When I find myself being involved in situations where dumb is at a high volume, is whoa, it's just leaves me stagnant. Again, communication with your dog, especially when you walk your dog off leash. So my little dog, I walk her off leash only when I go out. When I do a lot of work at night, so but I'll shut the house down at midnight. So I'll take them out at midnight. I'll allow the dog to walk off leash, the youngest, the small dog, because she don't listen. She's not gonna listen. It's like, come here, come here, come here. Did she come? Come here, come here, come here, come here, come here. Did she come? I'm not a 1-for-1 come here with her. Come here. She just runs around. She just runs around. I'm like, lady, come here. She just, look, man, the hell with you. She just run. And I'm talking to you dog owners now. You dog owners got to always put your dog in an environment where they can be a dog, but you can always have control and give yourself a margin of error, because you just never know with a dog. You never know. All right. So communication. They would like to tell you that communication is key. And I have, in my 57 years of living, I've only met 2 women, whereas though we communicated and it was a 100% dialogue. I asked a question and my question was answered. She asked this and all that. There's only two women, Crystal Holman, LaFrancis Brown. And Crystal Holman is the one I don't respect. I don't respect them for who they are, some things, but I'll give them their respect when it's due. Every conversation Crystal Holman had, every every conversation Crystal Holman and myself had, we had resolution. I have had Crystal Holman does not have a college degree. Crystal Holman is from the Bronx. I have had conversations with women that have multiple degrees, claiming that they are the most educated, and our completion of conversation rate when it comes to serious issues, 0.0. When it comes to just talking about the weather, 100%. Talking about social things, 70%. But personal things, 0. 0. I am excellent at giving you what you give to me now. I won't be no other way. I feel sorry for you guys that don't think that that is an effective way to be in a relationship with somebody that chooses not to listen. You guys got to always understand, when you see children. I remember the Kraft macaroni and cheese commercial when there was the man, the woman, and the 2 children, the boy and the girl. And the mom said, eat your broccoli. Who was the one that gave the sass? Oh, Mom! I use Kraft macaroni and cheese. Tastes great, Mom! What do you think that grows into? When a little girl is like that, you think when they get older that cuts off. There's a cutoff period for that. Oh, is it? Oh, okay. No, it's not. It's not a cutoff period for that. That is part of who they are and what you're going to be dealing with. And depending on who you are, you have to tell them, yo, close the faucet on that. Don't let that flow. Close the faucet on that. You can't allow it one time. I don't allow it at all. Like I said earlier, you get one sentence. One sentence. That's it. You get one sentence. The start of your second sentence, pause for a second. This conversation's over with. Okay, let me say this. Hold on a second. I'm gonna go left for a second. I want to talk about something real quick. I'm gonna talk about something real quick. I want to talk about friends. Let me talk about friends for a second. And for a lot of individuals that are going through life, and a lot of individuals that are going through life, and you you're going through life, you got that friend. Um, I'm gonna tell you the key to friendship. The key to friendship is making sure it's got nothing to do with them. Nothing to do with them. Making sure that your friends are exactly like you. I sit here today and I have no friends, but one male friend that I call on a regular. I went through life, excuse me, and I had a lot of friends, but they totally died off. As time went on, they started engaging into stuff that I just don't do. I don't smoke. I don't drink. I don't smoke weed. I don't do the corner thing. I don't sell drugs. I'm an older version of who I was when I was a kid. And you will go through life and you will have a friend, and your friend would, y'all came up through this in the same neighborhood. Y'all witnessed the same stuff, and you'll what will happen is this person starts engaging in street life. And I want to be clear, a lot of people don't look at having 3 and 4 women as street life, but that's street life. You don't do that in the house. That's not a domestic act. All right. So you'll meet somebody, or you'll have a friend, and you'll think y'all are friends. But I spent 20 years or so of my life not trying to talk to a person to tell them to stop running in them streets, dealing with so many women. I was told I'm good with these bitches. This is what I was told. And you get to the point where now you got 3 kids by 3 different women, and now you get married and your wife want a baby. And it's like I was the voice telling you not to do that so you don't end up like that. I was the voice. And when I look at my life, I'm happy to know that I've tried my best to give and make sure my friends at the time was the best version of themselves. However, they didn't want to be the friend like me. They didn't want to be that. So I'm telling you here today on the 6th of May, 2026, do a friend audit. Please, do a friend audit. Do a friend audit. Find out just how many layers. Find out just how many layers you have in common with this person you call your friend. All right? Just find out, because I find myself saying this a lot. You never see a suit and tie guy hanging with a drug dealer. I mean, a person that's selling drugs on the corner. All right? You never see that. The class, guys, men, we normally keep our friends of the same class. However, you could have a friend. You're going to go through life, and depending on how old you are, these things are going to eventually, you're going to have to walk down the street and sort this out. You're going to have to say, hey, listen, I cannot pick up the phone and call you no more. your morals and the streets that you went, I cannot provide. And a reflection of me is the guy you see here today. Again, I go to the gym. I I get 8 hours of sleep. Like I said, I shut the house down at midnight. I get up at 8 o'clock. If I if I go to bed at 1 in the morning, I get up at 9. If I go to bed at 2 in the morning, I get up, 10. I get 8 hours of sleep. I get up every morning. I say good morning to my home. Good morning, home. I go walk through every room and tell my house good morning. I live by myself. When I leave, I say, all right, home, I'll be back. When I get back in the house, I yell in my house, hello, home, I'm back. When I go to bed at night, I say to my home, good night, home. Thank you for being my house for another day. I thank this house because this house will be here long after I'm gone. And this house will host someone else's energy. So I think, this house was made in 1940. It was many of people's houses before I brought it. So I thank this house. All right. And that same energy that I do here in my house, I need that when I talk to people. Last time I spoke to my mom was in 2019. She cursed me out like a dog on the street. Last time I spoke to my brother was 2008. When our dad died, he changed all the funeral arrangements, and my oldest brother and myself missed our dad's funeral because he wanted to look like the superstar. Never spoke to him since. You will not invite stress into my life. You are listening to someone here today on this 6th of May, 2026. I have no stress in my life. I don't have bad days. I make sure I live way below my means. It's not going to change. So when it comes to friends, make sure your friends is a reflection of you. Make sure of that. Please. You will do yourself grand justice. Don't allow yourself to have to deal with some nonsense based on a level of friends due to the type of friends you got in your life. The song goes, help him be the best man I can be. All right. So I just wanted to go into that when I came back. I know it had nothing to do with what we're talking about today. But what we are talking about today is communication. And individuals like to say communication is key. And I can tell you as a person that has been doing this job for 25 and a half years, I have found myself helping a lot of men who have not been allowing their mate, their woman, to reflect this saying back to them. Oh, they've heard it before. They heard it before. Yeah, they heard it before. 444. They heard it before. However, this perspective of back and forth, if you will. One person is talking English, the other is talking sass. Sass. People I don't talk sass. People, sometimes silence says the most. When I leave my house, I can go to the supermarket and watch that guy that's begging. Excuse me. And I get out my car and I look at the door. I never even look at them. And they don't say nothing to me. Why do you think that is? Because I'm communicating to him, don't fuck with me. Don't stop my rhythm. Don't break my stride. Not going to work out well for you. You don't want this verbal thrashing. I seen a video where a woman was getting schooled. She had on a shirt. She went to work with the shirt over her belly. And the lady that she was talking to was a older woman, about 55 years old, a little heavy set. And she must have been about 5'8", and the girl she was talking to was like 5'3", 5'4". And she said, "No, you can't come here like that." And the young girl, I'm not understanding why. I'm not understanding why. It's simple understanding. You cannot. But I told you the shirt was too big. How do you go from I'm telling you you cannot come out here with a shirt on with your belly showing to you saying that the shirt is too big? That's got nothing to do with nothing. But here is a breakdown in communication. And the unfortunates of a lot of you men, it's unfortunate, but you don't realize this. I do. The power in manipulation, the power in importance. Let's be clear. You don't see lightning bugs in the daytime. You don't see lightning bugs in the daytime. If so, they would need to be lighting up. What's my point? I'm glad you asked. Wherever you are most effective, that's where you should be. Would you agree with that? You agree with that, right? Wherever you are most effective, you want to put yourself there. Why is it that every time individuals talk, they have to take it there? Why can't you have a conversation? Why can't they acknowledge what they did wrong and say, "I'm sorry"? No. Again, wherever you are at best at, that's where you want to put yourself. So when it comes to manipulation, sass, avoid, they do that the best. We're going to get your car right. So after that, they get my 7 Series. I'm so happy, man. Anyway. So like I was saying, a lot of you guys, you allow these individuals to communicate with you from the perspective of what? So I'm going to tell you why communication is key with me, if you don't mind. I was a 6-year-old kid right after I was 5. I was a 6-year-old kid, New York City. Right? 1974. I'm in New York City. My dad had a delivery company, Jewelers Shipping Association. And my dad would say, "Chris, listen, take this package to that building right there. Hey, listen, when you come out, we'll be coming around." I'm only 6. So when he gave me the package, I looked at the package and I figured we was on 36th Street. So I said, I got to match the number of this package to the building. So my dad, not realizing that he was 6'1" tall, at 6 years old, I'm what, 4 feet? I don't know when he say that building. It ain't like I can be like, okay, laser pinpoint accuracy. Oh, he's pointing at that building right there. I don't know. But we were so scared. This is how I know you guys, when you go to court, you be scared. Because I know this from talking to my dad. All we used to say was, "Okay, not knowing what the hell he was talking about. If I can dig my dad out of the grave today, I would say, Dad, when I was 6 years old, I had no idea what you was talking about. But my dad, you do the attempt at deflection and changing, and that don't work. She had nothing in the bag. That woman had nothing for me. Nothing. There's nothing she could say. She just was stuck. She was like, I said, you finished? Like I was saying. And when I spoke, she just was looking at me like I hit him with my best. That worked on everybody else. I'm gonna go here. Allow me to go here. You know why you hear that term sexualized women? It's because that's where they talk their best. How many times have you seen an individual out and about, and then soon they seen you, they had to. How many times? I remember I was inside the supermarket, and I was just standing in the door, and I was looking at this individual, and she was looking at me, she was like, so I would look out the door and then turn my head back into the store. I would look at her and then turn my head back, and she was literally going like this, waiting to, as soon as I steady look at her, oh, he got to see all this mess. That's what they do. I sat in Dunkin' Donuts a couple of weeks ago. I'm in there. Woman is doing this and all that, this and all that, this and all that, this and all that. Coffee, small coffee, black. As soon as she get it, she like they got to do that. That's how they talk. Communication, sexually. No anything else. Talking to my ex-girlfriend one time. You know, we used to have great sex. I ain't say nothing. Talking to an individual who used to live across the street. Came over here on my porch. Ooh, God, sweat trickling down my butt. Looking at me like, are we going to talk about my butt now? No. That's how a lot of you guys get in trouble. Yeah. A lot of you guys get in trouble behind the booty. The booty. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Allow me to lay it out for you. You know how many times now, I've been helping fathers now for 25 and a half years. You know how many times I've heard it was the one time we didn't I didn't use a rubber. It was that one time I didn't use a condom. And I say, really? Enlighten me on the events of this one time. Enlighten me. Blah, 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 blah. And then word is born, and then she just grabbed on the woody. And then, you know, I gotta dick her down when she grabbed the woody. Oh, do you? Give me a second. So you must dick her down when she grabbed the woody. Oh, okay. My former co-host Joy Green says something that I'm gonna co-sign. My former co-host Joy Green said, and I quote, "Women do not get pregnant by accident." They don't get pregnant by accident. I believe that. Yep, I believe that. So that one time you say that was the one time we did, that was a calculated one time. Listen, you look at the movie The Avengers, and you see Scarlett Johansson's character, and she you see she was talking to Loki, the first Avengers, and she allowed him to scare her. You such crass. I'm having fun. Barton told me everything. Can you wipe so much red from your leisure? I will play with you, you mutant creme. Thank you. Loki was like, what the Loki means to use the Hulk. Have Thor meet me at the hangar. Turned around. Thank you for your cooperation. And he had no idea what happened. That's how women are. That's their best form of communication. That's their opening. And you, my friend, you fell for it. Yeah, you did. You fell for it. Deception. My former co-host Dre Green said, and I quote, she said, once a woman exposed to you where she's at, she's already 5 steps ahead of that. To that you say what? And I smile when I say this because I'm a nerd. I'm a nerd solo. Your actions expose the entire picture to me. I can sit down there and watch you do 2 things, and my brain will instantly I'll go and just go into the future and say, that's where this is ending up, and come back like in a fraction of a second and be like looking at you like I'm already up on you. You want proof of this? Do you now? All right. Well, you see I'm drinking water because I like to hydrate. Let me go take a leak right quick. Really? So check this out. Now, what I just said was my former co-host Joy Green said, and I quote, when a woman shows you what she's doing, she's already 5 steps ahead of that. And I said, that doesn't work on me. As a nerd, I'm a purist. So when a woman says something to me, about the second or third, but by the 5th word, I'm here on her. And I'm just playing it out. She said that because she want me to do that. Then when I do that, just another that, then I just come back like, oh, didn't miss a beat. She didn't even see it. It's almost like, oh, okay. It never worked on me, even when I was a kid. Suckering me, trying to entice me, batting your eyes. This stuff never worked on me, ever. So I'm going to tell you about my ex-wife. I'm going to need a second. Okay, I'm back. My ex-wife, very beautiful woman. Of course I'm lying. The year was 1990. Let me take you back 37 years, 37 years, excuse me. Some of you weren't born. But let me take you back 37 years. The year was 1990. Got to put some funk on the story, man. The year was 1990. And we came, I'm sorry. Damn, how do I get that wrong? 1991. 35 years ago. 1991. The Iraqi war was over. We had came back to garrison. That means came back to the States. And you had an option because it takes 3 months for all of our equipment to get back. They put it on a boat. It took 3 months for all our equipment to get back to Fort Hood. So it was like when we came back home, it was like, look, you guys can go home. You're going to use your leave, and then you can go home, and then blah 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 blah. All right. If you got, it was 3 months. So what I did was I was like, I'm not gonna go on leave now. I'm gonna wait till our stuff come back because then you have to clean it, clean all the sand off this and all that. So when our stuff come back, I said, Sarge, I said, Top, when our stuff coming back? Well, Sarge, we should have our stuff back XYZ. I was like, cool. I put my leave in for when our stuff was coming back. Now I need y'all to follow me. Let me bobblehead y'all for a second. So when our stuff came back, I was going on leave. My ex-wife and I had the bottom had fell out. We was taking a break, but she was like, "Oh, since he going on vacation," she called my first sergeant on me. For all you guys that know, when a woman does this, your cheeks is in a clink. So I was like, "Oh, you think you're gonna put my cheeks in a clink? You got to put your lip out. You think you're gonna put my cheeks in a clink?" So I was like, "Wow, oh, she really went there." So they dismissed me. Dismissed, Sergeant. Let me see if I can go find something. Hold on. I can't find it. I tried to see if I can find a picture of my cars. Uh, I can't find it. Picture. I don't know where that fucking picture. Anyway, hold on. Let me go to one more place. I do not know where that picture is. All right. I can't. Wow. I actually have a picture of my cars from way back in 1991. Anyway, it was a Camaro. I had a Camaro. It was my wife's car. I brought it for my wife. And the day she called my first sergeant on me, and he said, dismissed. I said, ooh, damn, man, damn. He said, go back to the motor pool, Sergeant. I'm on like this. I went home. I took her Camaro because she had went to Chicago. I took her Camaro, went on Rancier, picked out a car dealership. I said, listen, I had called an attorney, non-contested divorce, $500. I said, okay. I had an Audi. It was in the picture. I wanted to find that. And um, I wanted to